Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. I recently did a live, and one of the questions that came up was the Haskell versus McDonough, the VA secretary litigation, essentially, the lawsuit that's taking place. And what effects are there going to be? What kind of collateral effects or cascading effects might we see? How might it impact veterans moving forward? And I found here a synopsis from the United States Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims. Now, this is the next level after the BVA. So if you were to go, kind of in the order, right? You're filing your higher level review, you're filing a supplemental, you're pushing it to the Board of Veterans Appeals. If they deny you, you can then push it to the United States Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims. It's kind of like there's an upper court and lower court. So this is that next step. Now, I did find this synopsis, a case synopsis, and the case number is 22-1018 for those that are interested. And again, this is there's a panel, and the panel is Chief Judge Margaret Bartley, Judge Joseph Falvey Jr., and Judge Scott Lawyer. So those are that's the appointed panel for this specific case. So please, I'm going to read through the synopsis here for you, see if we can find any nuggets or turn over any rocks, what have you. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. All right, so let's jump into it here. The U.S. Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims, and further on, it's just going to be considered the court, is an Article 1 appellate court created by Congress in 1988. The court has exclusive jurisdiction to review benefit decisions by the Board of Veterans Appeals, the board. So again, like I had described, kind of a lower court and a higher court or upper court. So moving on, an administrative tribunal within the Department of Veterans Affairs, 38 U.S.C. 7252 Alpha. Prior to the establishment of the court, the board generally had the final word regarding entitlement to VA benefits. That's Stan, for those that don't know. He's my rooster. All right, moving on. Had the final word regarding entitlement of VA benefits. There was no judicial resource for veterans or their survivors who had been denied benefits. Whatever. He's a loudmouth. He's going on. We'll just push through. Since 1988, the court has developed a robust body of law within its scope of review, including statutory and regulatory interpretation. That's an important part. VA pays monthly compensation to veterans who have a current disability resulting from their military service. As to the amount of compensation received, VA applies the criteria in the schedule for rating disabilities to arrive at a basic rating that represents the average, and this is in quotations, the average impairment in earning capacity for the service-connected disability. 38 U.S.C. 1155, 38 CFR 3.321 Alpha 4.1. All right, moving on. And just so you're aware, this is about a page and a half, so we're pushing through. In addition to basic rates of disability compensation, special monthly compensation is available to veterans whose service-connected disabilities result in additional handicaps above and beyond those completed by VA's schedule for rating disabilities. So remember that there's kind of two rating schedules, and there's a little kind of hybrid portion in the middle. You have your 0 to 100%. Then you have special monthly compensation in a couple cases where it's added to your 0 to 100%. The 100% rating can have some additional add-ons through SMC, special monthly compensation. Then you can actually transfer all the way over to special monthly compensation and just be rated off of that schedule. So moving on, the rate of SMC, special monthly compensation, varies according to the nature of the veteran's service-connected disabilities. And this was established through a prior proceeding. 3vet.app, I'm not sure, 522, 524, 1992, section 1114. He's like right on the other side of that wall now. All right, moving on. Provides SMC to veterans, one, in need of regular aid and attendance for a service-connected residuals of traumatic brain injury. Okay, so here we go. There's some numbers here. So number one, provide service connection for SMC to a veteran in need of regular aid and attendance for the service-connected residuals of traumatic brain injury. Two, not eligible for a higher level of aid and attendance under 38 USC 1114 R2. And three is who in the absence of such aid and attendance would require hospitalization, nursing home care, or other residual institutional care. Section 3.352 Bravo 2, the regulation that implements 38 USC 1114, I know this is dry, eventually we'll get moving on, requires that to be entitled to 1114 Tango, a veteran with service-connected residuals of TBI must meet the requirements for entitlement to regular aid and attendance, and in addition need higher level of care, and in the absence of higher level care would require residential institutional care. Moving on through this snapshot case synopsis, the case under consideration at the Buffalo School of Law on August 15th, 2023, Haskell versus McDonough, addresses whether 38 CFR 3.352 Bravo 2 is contrary to statute in requiring a higher level of care over and above regular aid and attendance. Mr. Haskell argues that the plain language of 38 USC 1114 Tango clearly does not require that the veteran need a higher level of care in addition to the need for regular aid and attendance, and that the regulation thus impermissibly restricts eligibility. Interesting. So this is all surrounding TBI and aid and attendance at higher levels. The Secretary asserts that the statutory language is not clear and that 3.352 Bravo clarifies statutory ambiguity, I can barely say it, as to whether entitlement to SMC Tango requires a higher level of care. The background. While serving in Vietnam in May of 1997, Mr. Herbert N. Haskell II was knocked unconscious by a rocket-propelled grenade blast and sustained shrapnel wounds, including to his head. He has awarded service connection for a word I can't say, encephalopathy, with a left cerebellar dysfunction and loss of part of the skull with retained metallic bodies. In July of 2008, Mr. Haskell filed a claim for an increased rating and SMC. At first, VA awarded a total rating of 100% and SMC, also called housebound benefit, under 38 USC 1114 Sierra. VA later awarded SMC based on the need for regular aid and attendance under 38 USC 1114 Romeo 1. In May of 2017, Mr. Haskell claimed service connection for TBI and submitted a neurologist opinion that due to TBI, he required supervision by a healthcare professional for his own safety and due to his need for chronic medications. In June of 2017, a doctor reported that the veteran's spouse must assist him with activities of daily living. In November of 2017, VA continued the total evaluation and denied entitlement to SMC. Mr. Haskell appealed, specifically arguing for SMC Tango. So the SMC rating schedule is letter-based and halves. So some of the letters will have halves. So that's the way that they function, that one. There's one last big paragraph here and then a couple little wrap-ups. on this synopsis. So in February of 2019, Mr. Haskell's spouse, a retired psychologist, reported that she must assist the veteran due to his confusion, memory loss, and balance problems caused by TBI. In March 2020, the board remanded the case. Now, the board, remember, the BVA, the Board of Veterans Appeals, or the board, can do three things. They can approve, deny, or remand. Remand is kind of like a wind. They send it back to the VA for more development, typically, to then decide. So in 2020, the board remanded the case for a VA examination and opinion to determine whether a higher level of in-home care was being provided. Mr. Haskell attended 2 VA examinations. At an April 2021 TBI examination, the veteran reported to a neurological doctor, that he is totally dependent on his wife. The following day at the medical examination, to determine the need for aid and attendance, the examining nurse practitioner gave their opinion that the veteran requires mild to moderate assistance with dressing, bathing, grooming, and keeping himself orderly and ordinarily clean and presentable, but that he does not require nursing home care. In the January 2022 decision on appeal, the board denied entitlement to SMC Tango, finding that and again, this was from a nurse practitioner, finding that the veteran requires regular aid and attendance, but not at home daily personal services provided by a licensed healthcare professional or under the supervision of a licensed healthcare professional. The board assigned great weight to the April 2021 nurse practitioner's report. The board considered Mr. Haskell's spouse home care to be regular aid and attendance rather than a high level of care. The board cited 38 CFR 3.352 Bravo and explained that qualifying for SMC Tango requires both showing of the need for aid and attendance and the need for higher level care. Thus, the court must determine whether 38 CFR 3.352 Bravo 2, which provides, among other things, that SMC Tango requires higher level of care, conflicts with the governing statute 38 USC 1114 Tango. Thank you for the opportunity to present this oral argument at the University of Buffalo School of Law. We hope that this is an engaging legal experience. So this is on letterhead, again, from the United States Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims. And again, it was the case synopsis for Haskell versus McDonough. The bottom line is that the determination here is when filing for service connection in the SMC realm of SMC Tango, SMC T, and remember that SMC has letter designation. So SMCT requires you to be in need of aid and attendance and requires a higher level of care. So the question is what exactly determines higher level of care? It's vague, and the secretary admitted that it was vague, and I think that vagueness may play into the veteran's favor here, potentially. The question is going to be which way they're going to rule and what precedent that is going to set, because there are plenty of people that are out there receiving aid and attendance, and what is going to determine that threshold of in need of a higher level of care. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep you abreast of what's going on. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.